Hello and welcome to Good Games Well Played, episode 208. I'm Clint, aka JCM. With us this week is Messiah,
Hello.
and Isley is unavailable. So you won't be able to comment on all of the trailers that we're going to cover because of Sony's State of Play, the Summer Game Fest, and the Future Games Show. There's also a couple other things. I think there was like an indie showcase. There was the woman-led games one, and it's just like it's too much. Like it's so many games, and
Mhm.
Xbox is happening right now. So it's like, it's a lot, man. Like, I don't know. The
Oh,
weekend is weird too. 'Cause, like, who is I guess it's a good time to do it is on the weekend, but I'm thinking about, like, because even E3 eventually became a thing where, like, oh, EA would do it on Saturday, and then Bethesda would do it on Sunday, and then Xbox would be Monday, and then Sony would be later Monday, usually at 4 and, like, 6, and then Tuesday was, like, Ubisoft and whomever someone else and yada yada, and then it would be, like it'd be very structured, but it was, like I felt like it was easier to do on the weekdays, like, I just don't have time on the weekends, I feel like, to sit and watch them. But we have a lot to go over. I was gonna make like a list and just have people react to it in chat so I could see like, okay, which ones get, little symbols. I'll know to stop and comment on these ones, but I just didn't have time to break everything down. So we'll start with Sony State of Play, which happened on Wednesday. We had they opened it with Luminous Arise, with another Luminous game. So by the same team, of course, who did Tetris Effect. Uh, so I know a lot of people like Luminous. It's a handheld title from the PSP, and I think they had one on the Vita as well.
I'm surprised they made a new one because it was definitely like I feel like that was one of the games that people always recommended if you had a PSP. Like, oh, I got my first PSP. What game should I get? And that was the one that people always recommended. So it was like really
Yep.
popular, but I don't know. It was just it's nice to see it come back for people that really liked it.
Yeah. I think that they said like back in the day, like because they couldn't do Tetris, like they wanted to do that game because they really want to do something like Tetris, but like okay, we'll just and they made Luminous, if I recall correctly. That's kind of how it went down. But and they ended
Mhm.
up doing Tetris eventually. But yeah, hey, Luminous back, and it'll be not tied down to a handheld, so more people will have a chance to play it. Then there was Grasshopper Manufacturer showed off Romeo is a Dead Man, which is a weird trailer. I was like, "What is going on in this?" Like, it was all over the place, art style wise, and then suddenly got into the gameplay. I'm like, "Okay." Suda51, there you go, got the new game. Then we had another new trailer after a long time for Pragmata, which came out, and they said, I like they, showed a little bit more of the gameplay. You have this little android girl, looks like she's gonna hang out on your back and then shoot stuff for you and hack robots and whatnot, but it's gonna be coming out in 2026, apparently. We'll see. Then we had Silent Hill F was shown, which looks really good. That comes out in September 25th. I like the creepy dolls. Like every enemy is kind of like a creepy doll, looks like, except that one big dude with like the tongue arms that grabs you.
I do, but I don't. Don't like that whatsoever. I
Yeah,
will
I
be
guess
watching somebody play that.
there's that one boss with like the face hole with the
Nope.
weird squigglies and whatever. But I'll look forward to that because it looks like it'll be fun to play. The melee looks like it's still work in progress, but animation wise. But we'll see how it goes. Then a surprise, which I was wondering when I was watching the trailer, I didn't quite clock it until the end of it. But Bloodstain: The Scarlet Engagement, which is
Mhm.
apparently a prequel to Bloodstain: Ritual of the Night, which is interesting. And because the art style also it's not exactly like the first game. So I was like, that's why it was kind of throwing me off a bit. I'm like, is this like it felt very Castlevania-y, but it didn't feel the art style wasn't quite, and I think it's because it's in early development. And it's got a 2026 release date. I'm like, it doesn't quite look like Bloodstain, but it could just also be like they just had a refresh of how they're doing stuff. But I'll play another Bloodstain game. I like Bloodstain. It's a good time. But that's coming out in 2026. Then got another trailer for Digimon Story, which we already saw previously at I think was it the Game Awards is where it was at last time? I know it was at some showcase
Yeah, I think
previously.
that's when it was announced. A lot of people I follow very excited about Digimon coming back.
Yeah, that comes out. I don't know if the release date was part of this trailer, but it's coming out October 3rd. So I'm assuming this is the release date trailer. Uh, then we got into Final Fantasy Tactics: The Evilise Chronicles.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that one's, I never played Tactics. I think Tactics became available on, like, part of, like, a PS1 Classics, and I tried it for a bit just to see it might have been the first one. It could have been 2 perhaps, but I was like, I just wasn't feeling it. But, I'll play a remastered one. It comes out on the 30th of September. A lot of September games, and it's coming out on everything. It's PC, PS5, Switch, Xbox.
Very, very, very beloved game. I mean, the whole like Evilly storyline was integrated into Final Fantasy 14 and people lost their minds. So I played the first one when I owned a PS1 and that was my primary console. So it's been a while. But I never played any of the other ones. But I think it's very, very cool that they're doing a little bit of a remaster for it and that CBU3 is heading it. I feel like this is a Yoshi P passion project that he pushed for.
Yeah, I like that they're keeping it still like the enhancement visually isn't like insane. So it's
Mhm.
like very much like, hey, it's still, and it looks like you can. I'm hoping they have the on the button fly swap like with Halo Master Chief Collection, where you can swap between the old engine and the new engine. That'd be nice instead of having to go like in the sub menus and change it. But
Mhm.
it's also fully voiced, which is cool. So that might get me to play it more. That way, I don't have to spend so much time reading. Just in case I'm like getting distracted or whatever. And then it also says adjustments to the story, which I'm curious what that means because I wonder like, okay, well, if you can switch on the fly, does that also, which makes me wonder like, okay, you might not be able to if they make changes because like if you're at that point where it's like, hey, the story diverts or there's an adjustment here, like if it's not just dialogue changes, like the only thing I can think of, like, okay, adjustments to the story, like, if they have stuff that hits too close to home nowadays versus back in, like, the '90s or whatever, like, maybe that's what you change? Or I don't know what you mean by adjustments to the story.
It has
So,
to be
well
like localization adjustments because they did that with the what was it? The Lunar remakes or remasters
mm,
or whatever that came out. They adjusted a lot of the localization because a lot of the original localization did not age well in
yeah,
multiple ways. I feel like that's a thing with newer or like remastered or remakes that come out, they redo the localization so that it actually kind of changes the story a little bit. So maybe that's what they're meaning. But
perhaps.
I'm not sure. I don't know the story well enough. The the only story I'm familiar with is whatever is included in 14. So
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with the original story very much.
yeah. Yeah, I'll be interested to see. Then we had another trailer for Baby Steps we knew about, that comes out September 8th. Then we had a game shown called Hirogami from Bandai Namco.
It looks
It's
so
a little
good.
action platformer using origami aesthetics, very tearaway, uh,
Hmm.
looking, and that looks like it'll be fun. That comes
On
out
my
September
wish
3rd.
list immediately.
Yeah, another September game, PS5 and PC, that that's coming out on. Should be fun. Looking forward to it. Then Bandai Namco also showed off Everybody's Golf Hot Shots. So they're just combining the name of Everybody's Golf and Hot Shots together now, and it's going to come out at some point this year. No release date for that. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound has a release date that's available on July 31st. I'll probably pick that up because it looks like it will be a lot of fun. When I was watching, it's like, ooh, this could be a good time. So it's by the developers behind Blasphemous as well. Then we had another trailer for Cairn, which comes out October 2nd. I hear good things about it. It doesn't look quite like my kind of game, but with Death Stranding like being all about the journey getting to a place, I'm like, maybe it would be fun to like play a game where I have to scale something. So we'll see what happens. That comes out October 2nd, like I said. So got a ways until that hits.
A walking sim, but vertically.
That's right. You get to climb. Uh, then Digital Eclipse announced that they're doing the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. So it's like a bunch of archival collections of all these Mortal Kombat games. They've done it for other stuff like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles a couple of times. Like they're really was it Tari? They did one.
Mhm.
Some really fun little collections with behind the scenes stuff. So that'll be fun. I'm curious how many Mortal Kombat games because obviously they can't. Don't remember if there was a PS3 Mortal Kombat. Played all the ones on PS2. I mean, there must be because I think 9 was PS3.
And then
And
didn't
then
they show in the trailer it's mostly like
the
the
old ones.
original and the arcade versions that never had console versions?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, not like the PS2 ones, not gonna be, Armageddon and whatnot, Deception,
I don't
but was
remember, but it looked a lot. They showed a lot of footage of like the original
yeah,
the original couple games and the arcade versions.
yeah. It could be fun just to see all that historical stuff in there. Be a good
Mhm.
time. I mean, that's what they're known for. And then we got another trailer for Metal Gear Solid Delta, just showing everything from the game essentially. But then it ended, with this bit where, like, you're hiding and you're kinda using, like, this enhanced octo camouflage from Metal Gear Solid 4, which I guess someone said in another reaction I was watching that if you collected all the frogs in the original, like, you can get that crazy camouflage. I don't remember, being a thing, but maybe it, like, could have been substance, or subsistence rather, like, the enhanced version of Metal Gear Solid 3. But that comes out August 8th. But it looks like an online multiplayer bit where it's like, oh, kind of a hide and seek slash like Metal Gear Solid version of prop hunt, because you don't turn to props, you just turn into camouflage bits of other areas. So if that's the case, that'll be interesting. I'll just have to wait and see on that one. Then Neo 3 got announced, which I guess the Neo games do pretty well. I don't remember the sales numbers for Neo 2, but that's coming out 2026. Then we had Thief VR game, Legacy of Shadows. When I watched, I was like, this looks like Thief. And then when they
Yeah.
said in works with Eidos Eidos, I was like, okay, yeah, it's Thief. And yeah, I was like, that works, Thief VR. Like I have that old Thief game from, was it 2008? It's like I don't know, man. Thief, that's way back when they made that one. But it's coming out PS VR 2, Steam VR, Quest 2 and 3. Could be a fun time. Stealth VR title. And then it was weird, like Ghosts of Yotai, they had a trailer, but then it's like, oh, watch more in July. It'll be like probably a state of play in July strictly for Ghosts of Yotai. I'm like, okay, no. You could just say that, and you don't have to include that nothing clip in here. Just say, yo, there will be a showcase. Or just announce it on the blog or something. Like whatever.
Also, like,
Uh,
that's a game that I don't want to see a whole lot of.
right. Yeah, I already know.
I
Like,
you've shown the big trailer, which is like, oh, this looks gorgeous, and it's a sequel to a game that was very, very good and popular. That's it. That's all you need.
yeah, it's a sequel IP. Like it's not like when when the first one came out. Yeah, show off and then you follow the wind, and then there's these foxes and these birds, and it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, show that because like it's new. But like we know essentially what to expect from a mechanic standpoint. Like you don't need to show off a bunch of stuff unless you have like crazy major changes we don't have. But even then, I'm like, I don't know.
Even
Uh,
like new stuff, like, oh, you're not gonna follow the wind anymore. You're gonna follow this other thing. It's like, just let me discover that.
yeah.
I just want to. I don't know. I'm not a big like multiple trailers person anyway, so anytime they keep showing stuff, I'm like, I don't want to see this. I want to see it in the game.
Yeah, we'll get into it later, but like when they showed the Death Stranding 2 stuff, because I watched Summer Game Fest after it already happened, so I like was able to skip through stuff. And when they showed Death Stranding, I'm like, I'm just gonna skip all this. I don't need to see the Death
Yeah.
Stranding clip. Like, it's almost out. It's like right around the corner. But then they showed off a game called Tides of Tomorrow. This is from DigiArt. It comes out February 24th of next year. It comes PC, PS5, Xbox. It's interesting. It's like it kind of reminds me. It's like a Souls with Meet Your Maker kind of vibe, where it's like, oh, at least from what I can gather from the thing, it's like, okay, there's this. They have all these like these island. We'll call them like island settlements, even though they're more like oil rigs, I imagine. Like these settlements on the water, and then it looks like you're choosing one. Like, okay, which one do you go to? You can go to probably your own right away and play through it through its multiple narrative story bits. And then once you do, that like saves it, and then you go back and you can choose like, okay, there's Zaya's. Zaya went on this one. I want to see the choices Zaya made, but I see the consequence of those choices. So like
Mhm.
maybe if you pissed off the security guards or something, then it's like they're looking for people that look just like us because we look the same,
I
cosmetic wise. So
definitely
it's
would
like,
do that.
yeah, and then it's like, oh, yeah, yeah, and then it's like, oh, I walk in and they're like instantly aggro to me because like they show the bit where like the one dude he gets pushed into the water by the one player and the other person sees him come out of the water all wet and drenched and like asking for help. So it's curious to be like, because very Souls in the sense of like, oh, you can see people's blood stains and how they die, but said this you're just seeing stains of echoes of how they played, um, which could be pretty like a racing ghost, right? Like it's like, oh, you play this, I can see your ghost car as I try to beat your track time. But this is like I'm seeing your ghost player character of what you did. Oh, you snuck through the vent. Oh, you did this, which seems like a really fun idea.
Mhm.
But and the reason I link it to Meet Your Makers. Meet Your Makers, like you build up a base like a dungeon and you put a bunch of traps and monsters, and people go and try to invade your base. So it's like you're visiting other people's uh, content essentially, trying to get past all their stuff and steal their resources. And this is like you're essentially seeing something like that by choosing who you go to. But I'm curious, like, how did they limit whose like playthrough you can see? You know what I mean? And is it only the one echo? Can I do multiple echoes or uh like, oh, and can you tell like if I want to see the consequence of every action, does it tell you like, oh, this person already did, story trigger A and they did this thing and yada yada. That way I'm not just repeating the same thing, no. Like if I go to your island and I go to Isley's, like, oh, you guys made the same choices. Like, is there a way for the player to know? But it seems like an interesting concept. Like, hey, let's Tides of Tomorrow is like, okay, you get to see the aftermath of what someone else did, but I'm assuming you can also do your own, and then they can see that as well. Seems like a fun idea. I'm just curious, like, what's the overall story that kind of keeps you hooked in, and then what's the longevity of a title like this? But I mean, February 24th is really close for a game that just got announced. That seems pretty ambitious narratively, but we'll see. Then there's just more DLC announced for Astrobot. Then there's a game called Sea of Remnants, which is like looks like kind of like a puppet marionette kind of thing, and like character designs for characters. But I can't tell, like, is it like an action game? It's from Joker Studio, which is NetEase. But I'm like, I don't. It looks like it has RPG mechanics, but like it seems like there's also like a time thing going on. Is it multiplayer? I can't quite tell from the trailer, but it looks interesting. I like the art style. Like when they fight that mermaid. It's like this kind of it's like interesting art style, but they show like the numbers flying up. So I'm like, is it turn-based RPG? What's happening here? So
It
we'll see what
maybe
happens.
isn't a good thing if you can't parse like what the game is about or what it's doing in the trailer, but I mean that's kind of the fun of it too. It's like, oh, if you don't really know what's going on, but it seems you're intrigued by it, like I'll get it and go in completely blind to it, but also like what am I doing? What is the point? What's going on?
Yeah. Okay. According to the PlayStation blog post, it says it's a turn-based RPG set in a semi-age of exploration setting using visuals of wooden puppets and a punk-like art style that is reminiscent of Arcane and NetEase's. Okay, blah, blah, blah. The mention of multiplayer means that will be likely. Okay, now I'm just reading the synopsis from someone else. Okay, so it's got RPG mechanics. Okay, so and it looks like there is multiplayer. Okay, so that could be interesting. I'm curious how it'll turn out, but it looks interesting. Then we got what I'm assuming was just the release. Yeah, it was the launch date trailer for Sword of the Sea that's coming out August 19th, another August game. Probably check that out. And then we got a look at 007 First Light, which is the IO Interactive Bond game. It was just essentially a cinematic trailer, no gameplay stuff. They did have their own IOI showcase. I didn't watch it. They talked a lot about Hitman stuff. They have like a co-op Hitman thing coming out. And they showed up more of this game. I didn't watch because I'm like, I'll just wait till it comes out, see how it is. But yeah, that got announced, shown off finally, because I know that's been in the works for a bit. Then we had Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls from Arc System. It's a 4v4 Marvel fighting game, very much more like an anime style for the characters. I mean, if you're into fighting games, man, you got to be eating good, I guess. I did see someone say like, oh, maybe this means they could do a DBZ versus Marvel in the future because they did the Dragon Ball Fighters, of course. Like that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, that got announced. I mean, it looks interesting. I'm not a fighting person though, so I'm not gonna play it.
I was slightly disappointed because I thought it was going to be a really cool new Marvel versus Capcom, but I don't know. I think it still looks really, really cool, and I kind of really do want to play it. And that fight
Yeah.
stick that they showed looks so sleek. I really want
Oh,
it.
that's right. Yeah, like earlier in the show, they showed like like, hey, we got a fight stick, official, the only one, the first one made by PlayStation. And it was just like there for a second, and then it went away. Like
Hmm.
no price, no release date, and it's like, oh, this is why they showed the fight stick because they're working with Arc System Works and Marvel to make this game. But yeah, that's that make it all makes sense now. And then they also had a. Oh, sorry, that's it. I was thinking of a different another showcase, but that's how they wrapped it up, and they had like a big old documentary bit about how it came together. So it seems like pretty cool. I know a lot of people are excited for this. So, but yeah, pretty good showcase overall. Big variety, a lot of very Japanese focus. I felt like with a lot of the games that were shown.
Hmm.
Obviously Silent Hill, Bloodstain, Pragmata, Hirogami, a lot of Bandai Namco stuff, Ninja Gaiden and whatnot. So it's like okay, it's interesting. It's like almost like a mini TGS kind of. But yeah, it was a good show. I thought it was a good solid showcase. A lot of variety. I felt like so good to see. But yeah, that's state of play. So then on Friday, we had the Summer Game Fest kickoff, and that opened with Mortal Shell 2, and I didn't realize Mortal Shell sold well enough that because I remember seeing like it was pretty good. I think it got like sevens. Or like the concept of the shell bit being like, okay, you inhabit these shells, which is like your fighting style. It's a Souls like, of course. But yeah, Mortal Shell 2 got announced. I'm like, maybe 'cause I think Mortal Shell might have been part of PlayStation Plus at some point. I don't know if I own it. I'll have to check, but clearly it must be done well enough to get a sequel or with Mortal Shell 2. So
I remember a lot
yeah,
of people really liked it and were really surprised by it because, from what I remember, it kind of sort of presented itself like a Souls-like, just in the way like the very first trailers were very slow and like parry and block base and stuff like that. But I remember a lot of people playing it and being surprised that it was kind of like its own thing and it was actually pretty decent. So it's really cool that it got its sequel and it looks a little bit more action-y based. So I don't remember if the initial game was quite that fast paced. But a lot of people seem very excited about it, so it must have been a really, really, really good game.
Yeah, yeah. I'll probably have to go, like I said, go back, check it out, see if I like it. I just the problem is I have a very like we talk about this a lot, like outside of Liza P, where it's like I mean that's why I didn't play Neo. It's like I have trepidation about jumping into Souls likes because I'm like I don't
Mhm.
know if they'll just be as good or as refined, and I'm like that's why Liza P. Everybody loves Liza P so much. It's like it's really good, and it's like okay, but yeah, maybe go back, check it out, we'll see. And like I said, they showed, more Death Stranding. I skipped it because I don't need to watch it. It's just it was like a cutscene between some characters. So I'm like, I don't need it here anymore. Did have an awkward cutoff of Hideo where like Jeff Keighley kicks it off to the trailer, but then Kojima went to go say something else, and then it just like fades to the trailer. And I was like, Hideo. Yeah,
Oops.
they took him out. Then they showed Chronicles Medieval. It's like it's from Raw Power Games, comes out in 2026 on Steam. It's like a medieval sandbox kind of game, narrated by Tom Hardy. It's like okay, more medieval stuff. Then they showed Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. That gets the release date September. Another September game. It's getting really, really bloated.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was shown off there. Showed off some extra characters. Joker from Persona 5, Ichiban from Yakuza, Hatsune Miku, I guess is there as well, and they'll be having Steve from Minecraft. Okay, sure, why not? Then we had a trailer where I was watching. It's like this looks like Code Vein, which I didn't play, but I'm familiar with the art style, and I'm like, yep, this is Code Vein. And I was like,
Mhm.
it's Code Vein 2, which
I'm
got announced coming
I'm
out
so
2026.
I'm so confused why they changed the way visually it looks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan. I don't really like it. I like the way that the original Code Vein looked with that like cell shaded, like very 3D anime Honkai Star Rail MiHoYo kind of vibe to it. It just
Yeah,
looks so it's got a very like uncanny valley, but in a anime way. I don't know how to explain it. I just am not a fan of it and I don't know why they did that.
it's like it reminds me a lot like the original Berserk, and then like the new one where it's very like that CG, but they just paint over the CG to try to make it look like it's old style anime, but it's not. It
Yeah.
just I don't like that. I don't like that look. Like when they do it in animes where it's like, oh, it's all hand drawn, except for like, oh, here's like a ship flying out and the ship is like CG. It's like, okay, whatever, I don't care. But it's like
Mhm.
when all the characters are, I'm like, I can't get over this. It's like I can't watch this anime because I don't like this art style. But yeah, that's what it felt like to me. It's like, okay, it that kind of thing. But yeah, it's like I don't remember Code Vein like necessarily doing numbers, but I guess it must have maybe in like Japan or something it did really well. But I just don't remember hearing too many people talk about Code Vein. I mean, that was a ways back. It's what 2019, I think it was for Code Vein. But hey, got a sequel. I'm sure people are all who like that game are eating well. I mean, got to be excited, right? Then we had a trailer for a game called End of Abyss, which looks interesting. It's very like Little Nightmares kind of looking. Kinda isometric, got like a I don't know, just going around scanning stuff. Some Section 9 Interactive, Epic Games Publishing. But yeah, that one looks very atmospheric, kinda moody. That one looks fun. That comes out in 2026. They showed off a trailer for Mouse PI for Hire. Not really my style of game, but I'm sure people are excited for that. Comes out later this year. The Game of Thrones real-time strategy game trailer shown, but like it didn't show any gameplay. It's just like here's a Game of Thrones. I'm like, I'm surprised people are still like these games. These must have been like when did you start developing on all these Game of Thrones games that are coming out? Like, it's been done for a while, the show anyways. Like, are people really is there a fan base out there for more Game of Thrones stuff? Aside from the books? Like, but hey, we'll see. They must really like what they're working on though. Then we got a trailer for Atom Heart 2, which I didn't realize Atom Heart 1. So I mean I know it did pretty well on initial sales. I didn't realize they enough to be like, hey, let's do a Atom Heart 2. So that's coming out. I mean, the games they definitely have their own distinct kind of look. Like, cause you know immediately, like, okay, this is Atom Heart, like, just by the way it looks.
Mhm.
And I've heard good things about the first one. I'd never played it myself. But maybe when this comes out, I don't know. Maybe if it's good, like I'll play it. It looks very more. It's weird because Keeley called it like a spiritual successor to Atom Heart, and I'm like, but it's called Atom Heart 2. Like, typically, you don't call the sequel a spiritual successor if it's got a 2 in the name, but, he might have just misread the prompt or something, I don't know. But yeah, that's interesting 'cause I'm curious how I have no idea how the first game ends, so I'm curious, like, I don't know. We'll
I
see.
did see a lot of people, I am assuming had played the first game, being very confused about what is even happening or what's going on in the world and stuff like that. So I feel like I don't really know much about the first game other than like a couple people I had watched start playing it kind of dropped off of it because of some shit that was included in the first one and they were just like it kind of kills the vibe. That's all I really know about the first one. I don't know if it's quite as I don't off the rails, I guess. You would have to I would explain it. Like it just seems
Yeah,
like
like
very
yeah.
silly and very power I don't want to say like power fantasy, but very like just weird. It just seems weird.
Yeah, it's almost like because the first one's gone more like a BioShocky, I felt like, at least from what I've seen, and not necessarily more serious tone, but,
Yeah.
kind of more on the serious side versus this one. And I guess if it's like a spiritual successor, maybe or spiritual sequel, maybe it could be like, "Oh, here's like an alternate timeline of what if the power that was developed in Atomic Heart was like, what if things went slightly differently?" Like, maybe it's that kinda thing. So it's weird to be like, I don't know, like, typically spiritual successors are when, a prestige developer leaves the company and makes Bloodstained, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, it's like this game, or it's The Evil Within, you know? It's not like your own game. What are you spiritually successing from your own game? But, yeah, and so it must be like I guess the first one must have, like, a pretty hard ending. It's like, okay, it's just like, it's done. Like, there's no room for sequel. And it's like, "Oh, what if we just instead of working out and retconning the ending, let's just make like a what if things went a little differently in that world because they like the world or something?" Because
Plus
then,
they have that I don't know what it is. It's like a looter shooter PvPvE type of game or whatever that's set in the same world coming out too. People were just
yeah,
like, "What is
it
happening?"
yeah, it's an MMORPG shooter, which sounds interesting because I don't think aside from like, because like the Division and Division 2 are kinda like light, RPG or light MMO because, like, you only have the multiplayer you can only run into other players. It's very much like, Guild Wars 1, where it's like, unless you're grouped with people, you're solo in the world, and then the Dark Zone is where you can run into other players. And that's, like, the only other RPG shooter MMO I can think of, but it's very, like, MMO light. So I'm interesting. The concept of a rotating world, that cube, seems really cool. Like, if the landscape does change pretty significantly, so it's like, "Oh, now we gotta if we're gonna go do this thing, the way we traverse the world is gonna be entirely different." Like, that could be interesting, but it's gotta be, like, pretty far out as far as when it's gonna release if they're still working on 2.
Mhm.
But, yeah, I don't know, and it's like they're really kinda going all in this universe, like, the atomic universe. It's like, okay. I mean, yeah, they're, like, speed running the BioShock thing. Like, "Hey, let's just do a bunch of stuff." But we'll see what goes on there. Then we had Marvel Cosmic Invasion was shown from Tribute Games, and then Onimusha: Way of the Sword had another trailer. I kinda skipped it because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, I mean, I'll play Onimusha when it comes out." It comes out 2026 at some point. And then Jeff Keighley was all excited about Felt That. It's a Muppet boxing game,
Of
which
course he is.
seems really silly, but maybe it could be it's like a Muppet Punch-Out! Essentially. We'll see how that goes. Then there's a murder mystery game that's shown off called Killer In. I'm like, we'll see if that it's got a TBA. It's from, Tactics Studios and Square Enix. See if that, turns out. And then Arc Raiders got a release date for October 30th. I know people are really excited by that. I didn't have a chance to get into the beta for it, because it was only on I think it was only on PC, not on P I think I might have accidentally signed up on the PS5 saying that was my console, but I didn't get into it. So I haven't had a chance to try it. But I'm looking forward to that, so we'll see if, how the final release comes, end of October. Just filling out that end of the year. Dune Awakening had another trailer, for people who are excited for that. Comes out, June 10th is the early access is available now, but it comes out on June 10th, which is only in a couple days, which is kinda crazy. So I guess if you have it like the special edition or whatever, you can play it early. But that's the Dune MMO, of course. Curious how that one will do. More MMOs, man. It's like gotta be tough to come into the MMO space. Like you gotta be able to make your game around the idea that we have to be able to survive or keep the game going on only a couple thousand players, maybe, or even just like 1,000 players. Like you gotta like make sure you have that scope pulled in because you're not gonna do WoW numbers or Final Fantasy 14 numbers.
Yeah, and also balancing your game so that it's not an insane time sink like WoW used
Mm-hmm.
to be, because then people just aren't going to play it or stick with it. So, like,
For
how do
sure.
you make your game the same thing that Final Fantasy 14 struggles with? It's like, how do you make your game for the players that no life it and for the players that play once every 3 months?
Yep. Exactly. It's like it can't be FF11 again. Uh, but yeah. And then let's see. Skipping. It's a game Mio Memories of Orbit. I must have missed from Team Asobi. I must have missed this one when I was going through it. Oh, I can't. I was trying to watch it. I don't recall this one. Team Asobi. It's like a. Oh yeah, I remember this one now. This is where it's got like jumping around side scroller kind of thing. Looks like it could be fun. There's a demo out now for it, but yeah, it's like a little platformer. Wait, is this Team Asobi? Is that's not their logo? Focus. Hold on. No, it doesn't look. I think they got it wrong. I was like, that doesn't look like their logo. I think I would have remembered if like Team Asobi did something. But anyways, that comes out in July. Looks interesting. And then Out of Words got shown. It's like a co-op game with a fun little animation, nice little art style. Characters like they can't talk to each other. There's no communications. There's no voice chat. Probably right. Can't talk. You just have to. It's all vibes on how you puzzle solve, which would be really funny. But yeah, it looks fun. Another co-op puzzle game. They're all the rage right now. Got to do that. But it looks fun. Maybe I'll play it with Izzy. Another trailer for Mafia: The Old Country. You know that is what it is. I'm not looking forward to that. I'm not a Mafia person. And then Lego Voyagers that got shown. That looks fun because it looks like instead of being like a normal Lego game where you run around as a little dude, it like everything looks very like way more Lego aesthetic, and you're like two little Lego blocks, like a red one and a blue one, like this single tile Lego piece. And like you go around, explore, and you build stuff. That looks like it could be fun. That's from Light Studio that comes out later this year. It's like a two-player game. I wonder if my kid would like that. Uh, Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny got announced. Uh, okay, I mean it's not really my thing, but there you go. And then the Liza P DLC had a trailer, which I skipped through because I didn't want to watch all the spoilers with bosses. But it shadow dropped. It's just like, oh, it's out today. Like, all right. Like I heard rumors about like the trailer leaked. I think like the day before, and people were like, "Oh, is the game going to release like shadow drop?" And I'm like, "Oh no!" And so when they showed the trailer, I was like, "Oh, they did shadow drop." I was like, "Man, you guys are throwing off all my stuff." So it's like now I got this DLC, even though I have other plans of everything else I want to play. But so I'm not going to play it right away. You do have to be at the end of chapter 9, so you have to be pretty far in the game to actually access the DLC. And if you are on new, luckily I had like my new game plus 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 save was like right at the start of chapter 9 because that's like the last quest I had to finish to get the platinum was for someone in that chapter. So I got to that chapter, and they did backport the difficulty adjustments to the base game because I was watching Clever stream it because he wanted to play it, but he didn't have a save that was at uh, chapter 9. So he tried it. Like he dropped the difficulty just to see what is. I don't know if he's still playing. He must still be using it because he got pretty far. Not to throw shade at Clever, but like he got pretty far pretty quick. So I'm like, I think he must be playing just to get to that point and then put the difficulty back up to normal once he gets to the DLC. But it seems I can't tell like exactly what it's doing. If it's just increasing your damage but decreasing the damage you take, I guess must be the case. Like more HP, less HP or something like that, or I don't know. Like but it seemed like the boss he tried it on, like he did the boss on the normal. He was doing all right, and then he died, and then he put it on the easier mode, and he got through it pretty quick. And he said it didn't feel like it was that much easier, but when I watched, like it looked like it was that much easier.
Mhm.
So I'll have to see if he plays again this weekend and ask him how it's going. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it. But I'm like since I'm going to stream it, since I didn't actually stream Liza P, which I wish I did back in the day. I'm like I'll wait because then it'd be everybody will play the game and then they'll go and watch it to see people react to bosses or what have you. So I won't jump on it right away. It's kind of oversaturated, even though I really want to play it because I got other stuff I want to play in June anyways. Like I don't want to rush to play this and then I don't want to stop and be like, oh well, the altars came out. Now I can't play Liza P or I don't want to push everything down. So I want to make sure I give it enough time to get back in there. And lucky because I'm at the beginning of chapter 9, I have to play to the end of that chapter and beat the boss. So that'll get me back into that groove of how to play the game, and then I can go into the DLC. But anyway, that's exciting. I kind of bums me out they shadow dropped it. But hey, I know
No
people are
time to
excited.
prepare.
Yeah, I just if you said like out next week, I would have been like, okay, that's fine. I mean, I still probably wouldn't have played it right away, but it's just like it's kind of crazy. Just drop it like that. It's fun, but really throws me off. Uh, then we had a game called Fractured Blooms, which is like Doki Doki Literature Club meets what do you say? Silent Hill or something like that, or like a farming game. And I'm like, okay, I guess, like, I can assume, like, clearly something spooky's going on, but they don't quite tell you. It's like a horror farming game. And isn't there, like, another horror farming game coming out from,
Um,
is it not Annapurna, one of their games, right, or something like that? Like, it's a horror farming game, but, I
yes.
forg
Well,
it's
was it
like
a
it's
demo?
isometric.
Oh,
I don't know if they're demo.
isometric. I
I think it's
don't know.
isometric, and it's not like I think it might be like, "Oh, there's zombies," or something. I don't remember, but, it sounds familiar.
No,
But yeah.
well, there is a God, I can't remember the name of it now, but there is like a horror farming game. I don't know if it was in early access or if it was a demo or something like that, but it was first person. And it was like the horror element was more to do with like psychological horror. It wasn't
Yeah.
like zombies or like weird stuff out in the world. It was a very like mystery kind of uncover the story type of thing.
Yeah.
But this one it looked really really interesting, and then it keeps cutting back to this like uncanny valley little anime girl, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Just
Yeah.
keep it
It's
first person. Why does this why does the character look like that when the rest of the game doesn't look like that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's I know there is a first person farming horror game called, We Harvest Shadows, but the one I'm thinking of,
Oh, yeah,
it's
I
more
was
like
thinking
it
of Harvest Shadows.
yeah, it's more like a Stardew Valley like, but there's a layer of spookiness, like, there's something else going on in the world, not just, the farming
Hmm.
bit. I don't remember what it's called. I thought it was Annapurna was doing it or something else, but I don't know, I have to look it up. But yeah, then they had a trailer for Blade and Soul Neo, from NCSoft. It's a free to play open world MMO. Like, okay, sure, why not? And then Blade and Souls Heroes got shown from NCSoft as well. It's a free to play collectible action MMORPG, another MMO. So many MMOs, man. Too much.
Nobody has
Uh,
time for this.
yeah. And then Seven Deadly Sins Origin rather. It's like, okay, sure. And then Jurassic Park Evolution 3. I guess those games did well enough that they just keep it says apparently the Steam page says use generative AI, which is not a good thing. I'm surprised there's not more backlash
Oh,
over that.
yeah, I saw that. They used the generative AI for like the scientist images or something like that. Like I guess it's whenever the
Huh.
scientists talk, it shows a little portrait of them, which
Hmm.
is stupid and awful. So,
If see, when I think about stuff like that, I think about what Corridor Digital did, where they had that bit where they used like AI to make an anime, but they fed it like Vampire Hunter D, and that was the backlash. Like, okay, well, you're just stealing the art from something else to make this anime, which wasn't like great looking, but it's like you could see what they were trying to showcase. And it's like, but it got that huge backlash for it. Then when they did the second version of it, they hired someone to essentially make all the reference material, and then they trained the machine on all the reference art, nothing else. So it's like then it made it again. I'm like, that's what I feel like you could do it for, is if you, hey, let's, make our own assets essentially, and then feed it to the machine to help us build out the miscellaneous characters we don't need want to spend time on. If you're like a small studio, like I can see like you don't have the bandwidth for it. It's like, okay, we can make a couple as a template and just train it on that if you had like an art style. If you're using real people, it's like, okay, well then I don't know. It's like
yeah.
whatever. But if you're doing like an art style, it'd be like, okay, let's do this and let's see how it kicks out some stuff to help save some time. That way you're not getting rid of the artist, you're still using them to create the essentially the skeletal structure of the characters. And then it's just, helping you out. Like, okay, we need, you're not gonna draw and work on like 100 characters, right? For like miscellaneous AI town people or something like that. But if it can make them, it's like, okay, do that. Like I'm okay with if it's up to save you time because at least it's your work that you're putting into it versus stealing other people's stuff. I'm like, okay, do whatever helps you save time and makes the game, as long as you're doing it ethically like that. And then as long as the model you're using isn't also feeding that into some cloud server and stealing it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But got to keep it on its own isolated drive. Then we had a Mina the Hollower. Got a is launching on October 31st. That's from Yacht Club Games. The demo is out now, of course. That's coming out on every platform. I know people are looking forward to that. And then there's a VR Deadpool game that's coming out, which I'm really curious how this is going to work in VR with Neil Patrick Harris doing the voice. It's like, man, this sounds kind of like Ryan Reynolds, but it doesn't sound like someone trying to impersonate him, if that makes sense, but it's not him. Like, usually if it's like someone doing an impersonation, like you can tell, like, okay, the frequency of the voice is not the same. But I was like, this sounds pretty good. but it's not him. And it's like, and then when they start talking, it's like it was just a Neil Patrick Harris. I'm like, okay, they're when they talk normal, I'm like, all right, but it's a VR Deadpool game. I do like that thing when he's like, oh, he's like, skip the Silk Song trailer and show this, and then later he's like, Spider-Man gets Insomniac, and I get this, and like, I do like those little self jabs. But this is from Twisted Pixel, and then it'll come out in MetaQuest 3 and 3S. Hopefully it's good and fun. I mean, that's you just want fun games, right?
Mhm.
Then, Dying Light: The Beast got a release date for August 22nd. I'm looking forward to this a lot because I like the Dying Light franchise, and it seems like they're doing a lot of fun stuff in there. Like I thought it was going to be only pretty like, oh, you just have like these beast powers from the end of Dying Light. I'm curious how they kind of what ending they choose then for the first game, especially after the following DLC. But if because if you're still going to play as Kyle Crane, but I'm looking forward to this. I like Dying Light a lot, and I love the parkour bits, and I'm looking forward to playing it. I still want to play Dying Light 2 co-op with Isley, but I don't think we're ever gonna get there. Then we have Mixtape from Annapurna that was shown off. Another one of their games. Then Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree. That's from Bandai Namco. A lot of Bandai Namco stuff this week. Man, they are showing a lot. This is it's like a top-down isometric combat game, kind of like a Hades, but that comes out September 19th. Then Axe of Blood, it's kind of a fighting game from coming out in 2026, only on PC currently. Like a side scroller fighting game, kind of like Sifu, I guess. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Scott Pilgrim EX got announced. It's like, okay, sure. And then First Ascendant Breakthrough. I don't know who anybody who plays that game. Like I've seen some streamers play it, but it's that's an MMO shooter. Okay, so I guess that's a big MMO shooter, I suppose. And then what's that one game that people play? I tried it. It's free to play. Oh man, it's got building and shooting. I can't remember what it's called. Lame Laney plays it. There's a game that I can't. Let me look up my Steam account. I played it for a bit. I think it's from another. I gotta look it up. Hold on, what's it called? Once Human. There we go. That's the one.
Oh.
That's kind of an MMO shooter as well. But with crafting and building and all that kind of stuff. But that's there. Then we got a trailer for Scum version 1.0. This is a online survival game. Curious how that does. That comes out June 17th, so right around the corner. It also comes out on Xbox as well. No PlayStation. Then let's see. They talked more about 007. There's a Lego Party trailer. Wildgate announced their open beta coming later this week. Well, next week we should say since we're recording on Sunday. Game called Blighted from Drinkbox Studios got shown. It's the Guacamelee developers, so it's like their next game. A game called Ill from Team Clout, which looks interesting.
Horrific.
Yeah, a spooky game. I feel like there's a lot of
My
spooky games.
my body horror nightmare.
Yeah. So like, oh, here's another game I can stream. Spooky games are always fun to stream. Mecha Break, I must have missed that one. That got shown. That comes out July 1st. Infinitesimal, which is like a Bug's Life meets what's that Xbox game? Grounded. It's like a Bug's Life meets Grounded. Like you're a little grasshopper, but you're small. It's like, okay, sure, I guess. We'll see. That's from Arc System as well. That comes out 2026. Then Street Fighter 6 DLC, a game called Last Flag. I must have missed this one as well. Wukong Fallen Feathers got shown. That comes out July 24th. And then we have Wu-Tang Rise to the Sea. I didn't realize that was shown. Must have been just a brief snippet. There's a lot of these games I'm scrolling. I'm like, I must not seen them because I must have missed them while I was, scanning through the stream. Into the Unwell was also shown. Splitgate 2, which I don't know, man. A lot of hoop stuff about that in the
Mhm.
that guys. I must have missed that in the showcase, but then it was like, yeah, people are just kind of going off. I'm like, all right.
Because the dev has to be an
Yep.
idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. Then there was Stranger Than Heaven was shown. It's from the maker of Yakuza. It's a crime story set in 1943. I must have missed that one. Then in the middle of the showcase, there was like a trailer, or not a trailer. It was like they had one announcement. It was like, hey, all the Resident Evil games for the 30th anniversary are on sale. And then later they had a showcase where it's like they showed a typewriter, something about it said like the RPD, and then people were like, "Oh my god!" in the crowd, and it's like
Mhm.
it wasn't an announcement. It was just like, "Oh, please, just wait a little more. In a blink of an eye, it'll be here." Yada yada. Like, okay, way to like blue ball us with this crazy trailer. Like it was so funny seeing people get like so excited in the crowd because all the trailers have the crowd reactions, and then just to nothing. But then he ends the show with saying, "Oh, it's up from a great developer, yada yada." And they're showing it. I'm like, this looks very Japanese engine. Watching because some reaction like, is this like a control game? Like, it doesn't look like control. Like, it looks like an engine from a Japanese. They all kind of got like similar framework, I guess it looks like. And when they showed the character, I was like, is that the daughter of the guy from Resident Evil 7? But her name is Rose. And he says like, "Oh, your name's Grace Ashcroft." I was like, "Ashcroft." I was like, "I know that's a Resident Evil name." And I was
Uh-huh.
like, "This is a Resident Evil game?" But it's like, well, it can't. It must not be 9 because like, are they doing? I was like racking my brain, like trying to remember, like where have I heard? I know the name Ashcroft is from Resident Evil. I was like, okay, that's not from Code Veronica because that's a different character. The one who has the Veronica virus in her. And I'm like, oh, I was like trying the whole time. I was trying to think, like, where do I know Ashcroft from? But anyways, they go through the trailer and show like FBI, and then like, oh, this, that, and like, okay, well, let's see what the hell's going on here. And then no one reacted to the name because like in the crowd, anyways, only one person from Easy Allies when I was going back and watching reactions like knew the name Ashcroft that oh this is a Resident Evil game. And then they've shown it and you're like okay what's going on? There's a murder. She's trying to solve it. She's hanging upside down. They're showing this bus. All of a sudden there's like a city there's a big explosion. I was like what the hell is this game? Like all of a sudden in my mind it's like the tone change. It's like what? Because I wasn't convinced it was fully Resident Evil even though I know the name. And then they showed the RPD and I was like oh man are we going to see Raccoon City after it was blown up. And it's Resident Evil 9, Resident Evil Requiem got announced. So, to the surprise of everyone, they was just a blink away. But yeah, they said it's going to be kind of a bold new direction. I'm like, well, I feel like the direction you've been going for the past 2 games been pretty different from all the previous ones. Like, how
Mhm.
more bold are you gonna get? But, uh, but yeah, if we get to explore like Raccoon City destroyed, I'm like, then you got like, are they gonna be like, did the radiation mutate the zombies? Like, what's going on? Uh, but Ashcroft, her mom was a character in Resident Evil Outbreak,
Yeah.
um, from PS2, which I played. I never played Outbreak 2, but I played the original Resident Evil Outbreak a lot. She was a reporter, and then I think she's also referenced in materials in the Revelation games because she was reporting on stuff. And this is the daughter of that character, so it's cool that they're like, "Yo, this character from a bespoke Resident Evil game that like hardly anyone played because you needed the network adapter for the PS2 is something like, hey, we're bringing that character over." It'd be like the dude you play as in Resident Evil Survivor if suddenly it was like a relative of theirs. I'm like, really? Resident Evil Survivor, the bad first person shooter game? Like, uh, but because I played so many of those offshoots back in the day, like or was it Operation Raccoon City, which was just not great. Like I played that. But yeah, I liked Outbreak when that came out back in the day. That was a fun multiplayer. I'm sure like by today's standards, it's just totally jank. But that was a fun time playing that online. But yeah, it's cool. I'm excited. Comes out February 27th too. It's like right around the corner.
An actual like date too, not just like, hey, we'll show a quarter 1, 2, or 3, and you'll have to find out later. Like an actual, it's probably going to get pushed back, but an actual release date at the end of your reveal trailer, that's awesome. Make that
Yeah,
a precedent.
I'm excited. Hold on one sec. Oh, I thought I got a text message I was waiting for, but it was a spam about an appointment. But yeah, I'm excited. More Resident Evil. I still need to go back and play the Rose DLC though for Village. I never did play it. I'm curious where that character is going to be
That's
in
what
future
saw a
titles.
lot of people talking about. They're like, okay, this is really cool that you're kind of bringing the all of the outer lore together in a way, and we're going kind of back to the origin and the police station, everything like that. But where's Rose? What happened with
Yeah,
that?
I wonder if Rose will show up later in like in the game somehow, or like or referenced. Who knows?
Hmm.
But yeah, interesting stuff. I'm excited. Looking forward to Resident Evil. That'd be a good time of year too. That February timeframe. And then moving on from Summer Game Fest, we had the Future Game Showcase. Now, this I didn't see everything from it. And I'm not going to cover. There's a billion things. I don't want the podcast to be 1,000 hours. But one of the things I'm just going to go through some. Let's see. What are some of the games I saw that were there that looked interesting? Sleep Awake is a psychological thriller from Corey Davis of Spec Ops: The Line and Robin Fink of Nine Inch Nails. I think this is one of the Annapurna uh, games as well. That looks like it could be interesting. And then there was Eric's Home: The Stolen Dream. It's like an isometric, well, yeah, isometric stealth puzzle game. Looks pretty interesting. Uh, what else did they have that was shown? Trying to click through some of the stuff. Explorator looks interesting. Oh, they also announced a sequel to Call of the Sea called Call of the Elder Gods, which I'll be curious to play because there's not much to Call of the Sea. Like it's like little light puzzles and stuff, and kind of a walking sim story game. But I liked that game. It was a fun time, so I'll play the sequel for sure. But that got shown there. Trying to see what else. All these, man, I wish these things would stay here. A lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. There's a game called WTF Waifu Tactical Force. I was like, what? It's like a high octane shooter coming in 2026, but all
It
the
sure it
characters
is.
are waifus. I'm like, okay. At least it's not one of those the games that are on like mobile where it's like they just sit and snipe in a still stance and you just see jiggle physics go off the entire time.
I was
Whatever
gonna
those are
say, it
called.
just very much seems like something an ad I would see on YouTube.
Yeah. But yeah, because I watched it's like, okay, where's the gameplay? And then you skip like to the end of the trailer and like there's actual gameplay. I'm like, okay, well, we'll see what happens there. They showed more Hirogami. What else did they show here that I saw? Was it Death Ground? Was that the one? Let's see. Yeah, Death Ground's the dinosaur one. That'll be interesting. They show more Hell is Us. Let's see. Trying to go through here. There's too much. They showed more Directive 8020. That comes out October 2nd, of course. That's the Dark Pictures anthology game. Looking forward to that. Let's see. This is not the one. God, there's too many games, man. There's so many games. Oh, Reach was an interesting game. Shuhei Yoshida introduced that. It's a VR parkour shooter coming out on PSVR 2, Steam VR, and MetaQuest. I watched trailer like, damn, it looks pretty crazy. Like if you can pull that off, I'm curious how parkour would work well in a VR title, as far as movement goes. But we'll see. There's a game called Rataton, which looks like a spiritual successor to Patapon, which is coming out, which is interesting. I know people like Patapon a lot.
Beta,
And
beta, beta,
then
fun.
that's right, There's a game called Crystal Theater of Idols, which looks interesting. Stop telling me about mail. Ritual Ties, and then yeah, there's been big splat of games, and I think there was a couple things from the other showcases. I just forgot to write them down, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that got shown
Mhm.
this weekend. Again, we have Xbox showcase going on right now, so world's first Xbox handheld, the Xbox Ally X. Okay, so they did announce a handheld. All right, I saw on YouTube. Uh, Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to go back and look through some trailers to see if I missed anything else from any of the other indie showcases. But yeah, it's a lot of games, man. This is where like I always feel like podcasts are great after these showcases because then the people who were there who maybe got to see a lot of these. Oh, there's a game called Blind Descendant that got shown. It's kind of like uh the forest, well, not the forest, it's like a survival crafting game, but you're on like a Martian planet. That looks really fun. I'm like, oh, more open world survival crafting. Like I love that genre in first person. Like give me more of that. Like I love Icarus. I love the forest games. I'll take some of that, please. Like that got shown. There's a game called like Guardians of the Wild Sky, which looks interesting. Like you can like Pokemon capture animals, but you can also turn into animals. And you can build stuff that flies around, I guess. Like
What?
okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, again, a lot of weird stuff. But yeah, Echoes of the End looks interesting. That's like a fantasy third person action game. Looks like it could be pretty cool. Looking forward to that. To see how that turns out. A game called Ground Zero, kind of like a retro looking third person survival game, very like a Resident Evil style. Sleep Awake. We already talked about that. But yeah, a lot of stuff. I'm curious how that game Mind's Eye is going to do because that comes out this week. I'm curious how that'll turn out. Not that I'm just gonna buy it, but I'm just curious. And yeah, just a lot of stuff, man. Too much, too much. I feel like it's way too much. Like I feel kind of like it's great if you're an indie game and you get to be shown at a showcase, but I'm like the structure of the showcases. Like I feel like the weeknights I feel like are the best times because it's like people don't have plans. Typically, it's you're relaxing after work, whatever. For the people that don't work night shift, and it's like okay, I'll watch the showcase. Versus the weekend, it's like you're probably doing stuff. It's like I'm not gonna take time out of my day to watch it, and I hate just watching individual YouTube trailers unless someone says like, "Hey, this game looks really cool," and then I'll go click on it. But I don't like when they just shock and blast my YouTube feed with. And the worst part is too, it's like any one that releases on PlayStation, it's like I get the Sony one and I get the IGN one, and I'm just like, I need like a snooze for 2 days kind of functionality, so my feed isn't filled with trailers.
I need every YouTube channel out there, like IGN or GameSpot, stuff like that, to not just re-upload the same trailer. I know you want like the views on your channel, but when the same trailer is posted 4 times in a row on my feed, I'm just annoyed and I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah, that's why I don't follow, like, I used to have Game Informer. I used to follow them back, in the day, and I'm like, "Nah," 'cause now it's just the same thing. It's the Game Informer video, it's the IGN video, it's the
Mhm.
Sony video, it's like, I don't need all of these. It's like, I'll just keep it with the IGN one, and then Sony for whenever they do their exclusive stuff. Because usually they'll have, like, the higher, resolution one. I'm like, "Okay, I'll watch theirs because they have the 4K or whatever." But yeah, a lot of stuff, man. A lot of games. A lot of stuff coming out in August, September. It's gonna be busy. A lot of titles. But other than that, I guess we can let's see how long we've been going here. Oh, got through that pretty quick. About actually, it only took us about an hour to get through all the showcases. Too bad. Kind of a pretty good speed. I guess we can quickly move on to what we've been playing. You been playing anything new, or are you just still doing the same old, same old?
Same old, same old. Getting caught up on Sorrow, because my boss was gone for 2 days, so boss gone, play video game during work. And I just basically been working on Occult Crescent in 14. I finally got the Atma stage done, and to my great relief, you do not have to farm the Atmas for every relic that you want to make. It's just to
Oh,
do
that's
that
good.
first stage of the quest, and then it like moves on to using tomestones. I was like, oh, thank God, because I have so many relics I want to make. Um, but I'm just a few tomestones short of getting my first one, so I think I'm gonna finish that today. I'll get my first relic, and then once I get my first relic done, I might just take a break for a while because I've been going pretty hard on the Occult Crescent and leveling up the like sub jobs that you can get in there. And I'm just like kind of burned out on it because the area is pretty small compared to Baja at least. The map is pretty small, so you're just kind of doing the same like 4 encounters over and over again until like a special one spawns.
Hmm.
And then every once in a while, the weather condition or whatever for the big raid will go. And then like 6 people will show up. And it's like, well, we need like 60 people to do this. We need everybody in the zone to do this raid. So everybody just kind of scatters. And it's like, oh, can't do the big raid. So I think I'm going to have to get into the, can't remember what it's called. There's like a very popular Discord channel that people go into for like Baldessian Arsenal and like the big end game raids and stuff like that, ultimate raids and Unreals and stuff. So I think I might have to get in and join that if I want to do the Occult Crescent raid. But I'm not that interested. Well, I'm interested in doing it at least like once or twice, but I'm not probably going to farm it since the only reason you need to farm it is to upgrade the gear. And I don't know if I really care about that much, but I at least want to do it like once or twice or clear it at least once because apparently it's pretty difficult. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm in like game limbo, I guess, where I'm
Hmm.
just kind of continually thinking about Expedition 33 and I just want to replay it. I feel like I shouldn't replay it with all of the things on my backlog. But then I do that thing where I go on Steam and I'm like, oh, these 2 games on my wish list are on sale. I'll buy them and play them. And then I close Steam and log on to 14. So I
Yeah.
need to just, looking at my backlog right now, I need to just pick something, I feel like, and play that.
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit of the 0.3 update, 0.3 update. I keep watching Sinister because he's British. He calls it not point 0.3. The 0.3 update, chipping away at the tasks at that, and then I'm playing the Atomfall DLC because I forgot that I bought the deluxe edition of the game when it came out. That way I could play it like 3 days early because I was going to stream it. So it's like, oh, I'll buy it early so I can stream it early. Yada yada. So I'm not streaming it later. And then I was like, oh, I do have the DLC. I can just play this. So I've been playing the DLC. Um, it's interesting because it's a really interesting approach to DLC, the structure wise, because it's like most DLC in video games is, like Bloodborne or Souls game is like it's isolated. It's its thing. In Deus Ex Human Revolution, it's like the boat trip you take. It's like the DLC is about what happens on that boat. But this isn't a DLC that's like, oh, you have to play it after you beat the game or this. Like you can play it concurrently with the main game because they even have like quests that on like it's a little island you take a boat out to. And they can have you do stuff that are quests and involve people from the base game. Like I had some lady I was talking to her and she's like, "Oh, I had a friend who was a scientist at the interchange. It's like this underground place you're looking for." And she's like, he left some information. Can you get it? So she gives you like this key, and you go into the interchange. You find these pneumatic tubes, and you interact with them, and they give you like he where he hid the secret messages for her. And then so it's like I'm like that's so weird that like the first quest I got is sending me back to the base game. Like I found this one. It was like this pirate bandit leader for the island, and she tells you like, oh, like you talk to her, and you're like, oh, maybe you can help me out, like because the whole time when you play like the base game, you're trying to find people who can help you get out of the place you're in, because it's under, like, lockdown. You can't escape, like, there's no so, like, one of your goals is, "Oh, I need to figure out how to escape," and different people have, like, different methods, but you have to it involves, like, helping them on their quest line to figure out, like which also leads to what ending you get. And so, like, I find the bandit leader on this island, and she's like, "Oh, I can help you, you gotta do me a favor. There's a Doctor Garrow. I need you to take him out." And I'm like, "That's interesting," because Doctor Garrow's, like the save I have is like an end game save. It was like right before I can make all the ending decisions. So it was funny. It's like I was right by Dr. Garrow. I'm like, that's interesting that she wants me to take out Dr. Garrow because in my opinion, he's one of the better endings that you can get, and he's like not a good guy, but essentially the one of the better options of all the people you can work with.
Mhm.
Um, and she wants me to take him out, and then when I go to leave the island, there's, like, these phone booths that always ring, and there's, like, this voice that talks to you, and it tells you, like, "Oh, be wary of her goals or objectives because she used to be a reporter, for the town, like, before she was this bandit leader," and, like, the voice tells you about, like, who she was beforehand and yada yada, so I'm like, "Ooh, that's interesting." So it's like the DLC is, like it's additive to the base game, so it's like, okay, this can also lead to additional endings, because and you can go back and forth. Plus, it has its own little story on it as well. So, like, it's really an interesting way to do DLC where it's like concurrent with the base game. So, like, if you played it from the start, there would be nothing be like, yeah, don't go there first. Like, it doesn't matter. You can go there first. It's like it's another path to find out how to leave. But yeah, so it's interesting that it all goes together, and it's not like, oh, you do an isolated story here and then go back to the base game. I did have a I had this one problem. The only problem I had, and it's the first time I've had this problem in the game, is like the game's very good about like giving you like, here's a clue for something and go look for it. And it kind of gives you an idea of where you go and you go there and you search, you find the answers, yada yada. And I like that. It's not just like objective marker on the map. It's like you kind of have to look for it and follow the information. But they have this one is like I find the guy that brought me over to the island. Uh he's like, "Oh, I need your help. I need you to find this thing, can you go get it for me?" And I'm like, "Okay." So I go to the place where it's at. It's like in this basement, but the door's locked and the door needs a key. And there's a sign on the wall that says something about how the earth has the key. And I'm like, but the way it's written is like, okay, clearly that means the key is outside. It's like a brewery I'm at, and they're like making this special like spooky tonic essentially. And it's like, okay, the key must be outside and it's probably buried, was my understanding. Cause like if the earth has the key, it's buried in the earth. And you have a metal detector, right? But and typically like you'll find like these buried tins, you can dig them up and they have like items in it. So I'm like, I'm walking around this orchard area and there's like all these beehives and I gotta take them out because the bees are annoying and they're like mutated bees. So I'm like sneaking around, taking out the beehives, killing the bees. And there's like this one dude in there also guarding, like taking care of the bees and like harvesting the honey and, this, like, druid that's possessed or whatever, and so then I sneak through, I do all that, and I'm looking for it, and, like, I'm getting no pings on the metal detector. I'm like, "Where is this key?" I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna stop looking," and there's other points of interest on the map I hadn't gone to yet. So I go to these other points of interest, kill all the people that are there, and I'm like, I'm running low on ammo too. It's like, man, because I'm on this island, like, there's not much ammo anywhere. It's like and you can't craft it. The one thing I wish the game allowed you to do is craft arrows. Like, you can't craft arrows. Like, for a game that has a bow and arrow, not crafting arrows is a little annoying. Like, you can craft everything else. You can craft better versions of weapons, you can craft throwables, medicine, you can't craft arrows.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a and it must be like a balance thing, is my only assumption, is because you can't craft any of the other ammo either. It's like if you want more ammo, you
Oh, I
either have
see.
to trade with a vendor if the vendor has it, or you kill the soldiers and you steal their ammo. And you can get arrows from the druids because a lot of druids carry bows, so it's like, okay, that's who you get the arrows from, and you can pick back up usually the arrows you shoot. So like, okay, it must be a balance thing, so you're not OP. But I'm like, I do wish that like just make my max arrow count less or make the resource cost high. But anyways, like because the throwables are strong, I can just make a ton of those usually. But they do take up a full slot in your inventory. Anyhow, So I'm going around these points of interest, like the whole stream essentially, like looking for this key. I'm like, okay, let's go here. It's like 2.5 hour stream. I spent like multiple hours trying to find this uh dang key. And then I'm going through, I keep finding notes like, oh, so and so's meeting this person here at beneath the place where they're beneath the brewery. I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm trying to get there. And, uh, and then it's like, okay, I keep going. I'm like, I check them all out. I'm like, okay, I'm not finding anything. I'm like, man, if it turns out like the key is just like on the bench or something and I just missed it. So I go back to the brewery again. I go downstairs. I walk around. Nothing's there. I go outside. I walk around the orchard. And then I notice that next to a tree on one of the sides, there's a dude who is in a yellow hazmat suit who's from the interchange. So it was on the island who's like dead, laying at the bottom of the tree. He's kind of got some grass around him, who I didn't see at all the first time because I was too busy dealing with the bees and the dude harvesting the bees to notice. And then I go up next to him and he has a recipe to make a version 2 of the metal detector, which I make. And then it lets you find other objects that aren't just metal in the ground. And sure enough, I immediately find the box buried in the ground that has the key. And I'm like, it's so annoying that like I deciphered that okay, it's got to be buried. I need the metal detector, but I have to make a version 2 of the metal detector, so I have to find the body, and nothing points me to it. I just have to see and be like, that's weird. I haven't seen any of these people here. Let's go to it. It's like, but it's in a zone that has like very aggressive bees. Like that was like
Oiled by the bees once again.
the only annoyance I've had in the game, because otherwise everything else where it's like you just gotta go find it. Like, I like that what they did with the game. It's like that was the one because I spent so long looking for this damn key. But I was almost at the point that I'm like, I'm just gonna have to look it up. But other than that, like I think it's interesting to do a DLC that kind of just again, it's parallel and not after or before the story. It's like it you can leave at any time. You can they'll help, this and that, blah blah with a certain ending. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm playing that. But other than that annoyance, I'm having fun with the DLC. And I'm just waiting for. I know Cyberpunk's DLC is on sale. I need to pick that up because I do want to play that. And then just waiting for the Alters to come out later this month, and then Death Stranding 2, of course, to come out later this month. So it's a lot of stuff. And then I'll have the Lies of P DLC to play. I guess I don't think I have much. I know there's some games coming out in July, but maybe I'll play Lies of P's DLC in July. But yeah, and then other than that, yeah, not a. I'm working on setting up like a thing so I can do miniature painting on stream because like right now I'm at the point where like if I want to paint like I want to paint minis, I don't stream, I just paint the minis, and I like watch catch up on YouTube stuff and whatnot. I'm like, what if I could set up a stream so I could do the minis and still stream? Like, would that do anything? So we'll see how that goes. I bought a little. There's an app called it's like Droid Cam. It's on both iOS and Android, and it lets you use your phone as a camera in OBS over Wi-Fi, which I thought was really cool. Or you can plug in, but over Wi-Fi works just fine. So it's like that's great because now I can have a little camera I can set up to look at the mini. I can keep my camera it is if I want to, for a while I'm painting and stuff. So I'm like setting all that up. I got a little phone mount that can just clip onto my desk. I just need to figure out like I'll probably if I do that just have to move my laptop and then I have a bigger work area to set up stuff on. Well, that'd be fun because I'm having fun painting miniatures there. It's a good time. Gotta get the models I'm working on done so then I can go back and do all the micro finishing touches, clean up the itty bitty mistakes here and there that require multiple different colors.
But you
And
were
then move
gonna
on
say
to
I
the
gotta
next.
finish the ones that I have so I can get more and start again.
Well, I mean, eventually will be. But I'm trying to make sure I don't, because I really want to get like there's this model called the Sonoran Assimilator, which is like the biggest model for the Tyranids, and
Mhm.
it's huge. And like it also has two variants. So what people do is they will magnetize the different components, like the arms and the head, because it's got two different heads. And then that way, if you want to, because they have two different skill sets and like moves and whatnot, and it's like, ooh, I could be like the first time I try magnetization. Also, because it's so big, I'm probably going to piece paint it. So paint the pieces and then put it together. Or at least the pieces that are magnetized, I can paint those on their own, and then I don't have to glue them. I just put them on; they get magnetized. Try that. Uh, Plus, it just looks really cool. I'm like, man, I really want to paint one of those big guys. Just do that. But I'm looking forward to painting some of the other models I got. But yeah, I got some nice ones. I gotta get through this. The one that's gonna bug me the most is all the little guys, all the little Termagants I got that are like it's the same model, and you got to do it like 20 times, and it's like,
Mhm.
I think that's where like contrast paints are like essentially supposed to be like speed paints, where you just put on one coat and it's like you're done. And I'm like, I guess I could just contrast paint all of the little guys and not do the real paint of everybody else. So I think what I might do is I might take one and contrast paint it and see how it looks. And if it looks okay, then maybe I was like, okay, I'll just contrast paint because it's like easiest to do. Doesn't take long. Just slap it on there and be done with it. Because also they're just like they're grunts essentially of the army. I don't want to put too much time to them, but because it can get a little obnoxious. But we'll see. Yeah, other than that, not playing too much else. I know there's like a big update for. I did have the demo for Escape Room 2, so I didn't realize Escape Simulator 2. I didn't realize Escape Simulator 2 got announced.
Oh.
And it's
Hmm.
it looks interesting. I played the tutorial for it. I was going to stream it the other day, but that's I don't know when's it supposed to come out. I have it on my wish list. TBD for its release date. But I'm like, all right. I mean, I went back and I played a little bit more of a Escape Simulator by myself the other day. Ooh, they have another Detective's Office update. They get a lot of updates for that game. Check that out. Play through that, but I still need to play the space DLC for Factorio. The problem is I got to get to space, which takes a while to do because I'm not fully there on my speed to get up to that point. And then just watching people react to Expedition 33 in certain parts. People will be like, "Wee," and then be like,
Ooh.
that's right. Yeah. All right. Well, that'll go ahead and do it. Like I said, well, anything that's shown off at the Xbox Showcase, we'll just have to follow up again on the next episode. So that's going on right now, and I'll have to catch up on that in a minute to see if there's anything worthwhile outside of their handheld. Yeah. All right. Well, I think I want to listen. Thank you, Isaiah, for joining.
Mhm.
And we'll see you all next time. Bye.